Hello, my dear boys and girls. The remaining portion of strong roots will be discussed tonight, and I am going to discuss with you the last portion or the last part of strong roots taken from The Wings of Fire by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And you see that in the last part, in the last two paragraphs, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has unambiguously and in a very straightforward style has described his father's daily routine. Okay? I remember my father starting his day at 4 a.m. by reading the namaz before dawn. The author APJ Abdul Kalam can clearly or distinctly remembers or calls up that his father would start his day at 4 a.m. dawn and by reading the namaz before dawn. And after the namaz, he used to walk to a small coconut grove. And after having read the namaz, he used to go to the small coconut grove. We owned. That means the coconut grove was in the possession of Kalam's family. Clear? After 4 miles, about 4 miles from our home, and the distance of the coconut grove was about 4 miles from APJ Abdul Kalam's home or Jainalaabdin's home. He would return with about a dozen coconuts. Dozen means 12 coconuts, with 12 coconuts tied together and thrown over his shoulder. He would come back home. And it was his daily routine. And only then would he have his breakfast. And after that, he would have his breakfast. And it was his daily routine. This remained his routine even when he was in his late 60s. That means even when he was in his late 60s, that is 69, up to 69, late 60s. So, a question may be set from this paragraph: what was the daily routine of Jainalaabdin? Or when would Jainalaabdin start his day and how? There may be two different types of questions. How did Jainalaabdin start his day? And what did he do every morning? Or what was the daily routine of Jainalaabdin? These are the two pertinent questions that are usually set in the HS exam. So let me remind you again that Jainal Abidin would start his day at 4 a.m. almost before dawn by reading the namaz, and then he would walk to the coconut grove about 4 miles away from their home, and when he would return home, he would carry a dozen coconut tied together over his shoulder, and after this sort of activity, he would have his breakfast, and this was his daily routine. Now come to the last paragraph. I have throughout my life, as this is an autobiography, APJ Abdul Kalam recollects, I have throughout my life tried to emulate my father in my own world of science and technology. That means throughout his life, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has tried to apply his father's principle, his father's activities, even to his field of science and technology. I have endeavored to understand the fundamental truths revealed to me by my father. As Jainal Abidin was a saintly person, as Jainal Abidin led a saint's life, he had some ethics, he had some moral values, and APJ Abdul Kalam tried to grasp all his father's principles, activities, and felt convinced that there exists a divine power. And by following Jainal Abidin, APJ Abdul Kalam came to the conclusion that there is a divine power. There is a spiritual power that I have already discussed that binds and sustains the whole universe. He is inexplicable. He is not touchable, and he acts behind every thought, every principle, every activity. And this feeling came to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's mind. Rather, he inherited this feeling from his father, that there is a spiritual power, there is a heavenly power, that there is a celestial power that binds and sustains the whole universe. And it is the power that lifts one up from confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure. Because a human being is full of miseries, sufferings, melancholy, confusion, troubles, hindrances, whatnot. If you compare your life to the journey of life is always full of hindrances, troubles, melancholy, depression, frustration, and failure. and it is the spirit that guides one to one's own right path. এবং সেটা and that is the spirit that binds and sustains the whole universe, and it is the spirit that guides one to one's own right path, right way, and it is the spirit that lifts one up from those melancholy, from those sufferings, from those troubles, whatnot. Okay? And once an individual severs his emotional and physical bond, what is the relation between emotional and physical bond? Physic is nothing but the body, and emotion lives in mind and heart. And this bondage must be snapped. This bondage must be snapped. For example, I am giving you an example. Once the doctor advised Swami Vivekananda, who was suffering from acute diabetes, advised Swami Vivekananda not to drink water at night. And Swami Vivekananda was able to sever the emotional and physical bond at that time, and he withdrew his mind from water. And he didn't drink water for 7 days. And when the doctor asked him about his diabetes, he frankly told the doctor that he had withdrawn his mind from water, and that is why he could not drink water for 7 days, and the doctor was quite astonished. So, if one can sever emotional and physical bond, something is happening that is not in your hand. So what can you do? Your physic can do nothing, but your emotion suffers. Then what should you do? Your first duty should be to sever the emotional and physical bond, and the suffering will be less. And the suffering will be less. And once an individual severs his emotional and physical bond, he is on the road to freedom. What is the freedom? This freedom is not the ordinary freedom. This is the freedom of mind. This is the freedom from any kind of bondage. The worldly affairs, the materialistic world, all these should go away from your mind. So, you can come out of that physical bondage, that material bondage, that worldly bondage, and you will walk forward the way of freedom, the way of happiness. It is this happiness. All are illusion. All are illusion. If you think that you are suffering for somebody, you are suffering for something, you consider it, you take it as an illusion. Because everything is in this world is nothing but an illusion. And peace of mind. And if you can drive away your illusion, If you can drive away your greed for materialistic world, you will achieve freedom, you will achieve peace of mind. This is the gist of the two paragraphs. Now, from this paragraph, one question may be set. What should be the question? When can one individual walk forward towards the world of freedom, happiness, and peace of mind? And why did APJ Abdul Kalam apply his father's principle, his father's attitude to life, to his field of science and technology? How did APJ Abdul Kalam apply his father's principle or his father's activities to the field of science and technology? And how can one be led to the world of happiness, freedom, or peace of mind? These two questions may be set from the last paragraph. So, the two paragraphs deal with, the first one deals with how APJ Abdul Kalam's father, Jainal-Abidin, led his daily life, led his daily routine, and the second paragraph deals with nothing but how one can walk forward towards the world of happiness, the peace of mind, and freedom. That's the end of my lecture tonight. And I should not remind you, but you should subscribe my channel and you should like it, comment, and share. And stay safe, stay mellow, and avoid mass gathering because COVID has not yet taken farewell completely. And use your mask and hand sanitizer as your exam is on your threshold. Good night, and I shall again